Hi everyone, welcome to Web 2.0, building the social media wall around your business. My name is Chandra McLam. I own AnitaMcLam.com. I am a search engine optimization company. We do internet marketing, video marketing, and social media management. But today we're going to talk about building the social media wall around your business. And when I talk about social media from today's presentation, we're not going to be talking about platforms such as Facebook and Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, Twitter. Those are not the social media platforms that I'm speaking of. Today, we're going to talk about directories and how important that they are to your business. So let's just get started. Mobile devices, they're the way to go for anything these days because for the most part, when we are mobile and we have our device with us, we can find things that we need. We are no longer strapped to the desk or in an office or at a desktop in order to be able to use the internet. And that's really, really important. We've come a long way. You know, even the term car phone, that's what we used to call it back in the day, but now it's a mobile device because it's a device that we have the ability to use while we are mobile. So let's look at this search bar. It's really become our new directory. As you can see, they did not finish their search. So all the searches that people are searching on a regular basis or common searches popped up. And I know that happens a lot. It's going to happen in this presentation too. Go right next to that. So this is an actual search that I did from my home on July 16th, 2016. And notice I did not finish what I was entering. I was actually going to put, was on the first line, coffee shops near me, but it already came up. So all I had to do was click on that. And this is just an example of how people commonly search for the exact same thing, and Google tracks that. So you don't have to really put everything that you're actually searching for, thinking about, into the search bar. Once you start going to certain keywords and going in a certain direction, Google already knows what you're looking for because numerous people are looking for the same thing. So that's going to be really important in this presentation. So let's go back real quick. So I was searching for coffee shops near me. That was what I actually wanted. So that was on line 1. So if we go to this next slide, now what pops up in the maps is the Wawa, Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks. That's not what I was looking for. And if we look underneath, we'll see that Find Me Coffee and Find Me Coffee app pops up, and a couple other things pops up too. I'll show you as we continue on, but let's just look. Wawa pops up, no reviews. Dunkin' Donuts pops up, and Starbucks pops up. And if you've noticed, these are not ads. These are just map-related searches that pop up. So these people did not pay to be at the top of this page. So let's look at what else popped up. FindMeCoffee.com. Find Me Coffee has an app. FindACoffeeShop.net. Find Me Coffee has an Android app as well. So right here at the top, we'll see that they have an iTunes app and they have an Android app, which is something that we'll definitely go into a little later. The best coffee shops near me, looks like that's a blog. CoffeeSeeker.com, Snag a Job, and 25 Essential DC Coffee Shops. Now, I will tell you, if I did not know where the coffee shop was that I was looking for, I would probably click on this first line and see what coffee shops that they tell me are actually near me. So that's very important because the coffee shop that I was looking for did not pop up. It did not pop up at all. So I want you guys to understand that searches are like the highway. There are many different ways to a destination, but there's one difference when you're searching on Google. The searches are really driven by what is put in the search bar. So let's say that we are walking or we're driving and we're looking for something that's near us. That particular type of search gives the search engine the direction to go to get to that destination. So when saying that, we may not get to the destination that we were actually looking for, but it's going to give us the destination that's pertinent to how it's linked up on the internet. I'm hoping I'm making sense to everyone. Let's talk about that for a little while. Let's investigate, what came up in this search. What does this mean? This means that the companies or businesses that were in these directories that were pointed out, they came up. The shop that I was looking for did not come up. So that means the type of search dictated the page. So had I been more specific, put the name of the coffee shop I wanted, maybe the town, maybe the street, maybe the phone number, something that was directly related to the shop that I actually was looking for, it may have had a better chance popping up. But because I put coffee shops near me, what I was looking for did not come up. And I want to also point out something else. Let me go back to that page. There was no business that popped up on this particular page other than in the maps. So that means for this particular search, for this particular type of search, the directories are going to take over and have more presence than just the local business itself, or a business itself, I should say. So this was a blogger site that actually came up as well on that search, the best coffee shops near me. Now, can you tell me or think about why did that come up? Remember, what did I search? I searched coffee shops near me. Now, 9 times out of 10, it looks like this is more of a blogger site that certain bloggers actually send their articles or their posts to, and it's probably specific to my area, and they may be talking about a few coffee shops near me or on the East Coast, but this is the shop that I was looking for is not a part of this blog because I've already gone through and looked at it. Okay, so I really want to look a little closer to each line and see what came up. They're all directories. They're all directories. But there are 2 things that came up that I really want to point out as well. Find Me Coffee app. So what that tells me is there are apps specific to coffee shops. And not only are there apps specific to coffee shops, but there are, depending on the type of device, the mobile device that you're using, if it's an Apple device, there's an app for it in the iTunes store. If it's an Android device, there's an app for that as well. So these are just things that I'm pointing out for you all to understand that it's really, really important not to only be in relevant directories, but to also look at it from an app standpoint, because we're talking about a mobile device. We're talking about a device that you're using when you're out and about. You're not at home. You are maybe on vacation, taking a trip, may just be out and about one day and say, hey, I want some coffee. What's near me right now? These are the things that people do. This is how people search, because now we have the ability to do that. So we can't just think about our business from a website standpoint or from a keyword standpoint and assume that every time someone is online that they are actually at home or in an office type setting at a desk looking at a desktop. We no longer live that way, so we can no longer search that way, and we can no longer assume that people are searching that way. Okay, so now we're going to go into the Find Me Coffee actual website. And of course, we've already talked about the fact that they have apps, and because mobile devices are big, the apps are growing as well, and they're pretty much taking over. But let's kind of look and see what choices that we have in Find Me Coffee. It kind of tells you how it works. A person can add a review. A person can suggest a coffee shop. Coffee shop owners can sign up. And if you sell cafe products, you can, I guess, list your products here. Let's see. You can find out what kind of coffee shop you need. So I like this because it lets you become extremely specific. You can put whether you have Wi-Fi, You can indicate whether you are a drive-through, if you're open 24 hours. It can filter whatever you want. So, I mean, that's really, really good. Whether there's food available, airport locations, all these things are important because you have to understand we're talking about a mobile device. People are mobile at that time. So what they need at that moment is going to be driven by their search, and they want to know what's the best location I can go to for what I need at that time. Okay, so another one of the items that came up on that search was coffee seeker. So what I did, I went into their site, I put my zip code in. Now I know for a fact there's a coffee shop less than 5 miles from my home, and nothing's coming up with my zip code, nothing at all. So that's not good because that's not true. And as a matter of fact, if we go back and think about what popped up in the maps, the Wawa and the Dunkin' Donuts is actually close to me. But what that means is the Wawa and Dunkin' Donuts are not a part of this directory. They are not in Coffee Seeker. Okay, so I picked a town that's not really that close to me, but it's not far away either. It's going in the opposite direction. So I picked Waldorf, and look what pops up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Starbucks cups and a Dunkin' Donuts. So what that means is, based on the city in this particular directory, it's these businesses are actually listed in this particular directory. I put in my zip code, nothing came up. I put in a city, which is not the city that I live in, but it's very close to me, and these pop up. So let me do it another way. So I put in the zip code for the coffee shop that I specifically was looking for. And once again, nothing pops up. But once again, the Dunkin' Donuts and the Wawa should have popped up on this search with this zip code, and they did not pop up because they're not in the directory. So I really want you to understand how important this really, really is, because we're talking about people, we're talking about mobile devices, we're talking about people having a need for something as they are mobile, and what's going to drive them from one location to the next. So if you're not listed in these directories that are relevant to your business, you're missing out on business. So how do I fix this problem? Well, there are different ways. Like the blog that came up, I really didn't focus on it too much, but finding blogs that are related to your business with high authorities, ask them if you can link your business website up to them, or ask them if they'll write about your business, and really be specific on location. That really makes a difference sometimes. Finding directories that are relevant to your business and sign up with them, like Coffee Seeker, Find Me Coffee, all those types of things. And also, not only are the directories that are relevant to your business important, but we also saw how important it was being linked to the apps. So I really did not go deep into that particular listing, Find Me Coffee, but there may be a choice. You may not have to actually link up to their app. You just may link up to their site. So it's important to not only link to the directory itself, but if it gives you an option to link to the app, I would suggest you take that option, and not only just for the type of mobile device you use, but the type of mobile devices that they have an app available for. Or the last thing you can do is find a great SEO person like myself and have them research your competition. And what I do is I can actually research your competition, see where your competition is linked up to, and do the exact same thing for you, which I'm sure you can see is really, really important. Another resource that helps you find these relevant directories for your business is a site called Noam. Noam is very, very good. You really have to go in and look around, but it categorizes everything by the business type. So you don't have to wonder, was this directory good for me, or is this particular social platform good for me? It kind of categorizes it so you'll know which direction to go. Now you can actually go in and do everything yourself. It's a little time consuming, but it's definitely worth it. Some of the sites are free. Some of them you have to pay for, or you can actually pay them to link you to all the sites. It's really up to you. Or you can actually pay me to do the same thing for you. It's really, really up to you. And basically, how do you solve this problem? Do the same thing I did. Use the Google search engine, see what happens when you search for your business type. And I want you to think about something, though. I want you to remember this. Even if you come up on a search on page 1, you still want to come up more than once on that page when people are searching. And the best example for that is what came up in the maps was the Wawa, Dunkin' Donuts, and a Starbucks. Let's think about that. Now, as a matter of fact, let's go back. I'll go back into it. That'll probably be the best thing to do. So, underneath that, these came up. But as I went into some of these search engines, let me go to another slide. I want to show you an example of what I'm trying to say. Okay, Wawa, Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks came up from the initial search. And then we had all these other options to look. So what I mean by if your company or business pops up from the initial search on page 1, you want to pop up in more than one spot, because a lot of times people ignore this because they think it's an ad and they don't really pay attention. But I went into findacoffeeshop.net. Now let's look at that. It's saying 14 minutes, 7.2 miles from my home was the nearest coffee shop. That's not true. The Wawa and the Dunkin' Donuts that was in the maps that popped up are closer than this Starbucks. And then actually the Starbucks that actually popped up in the maps as well on King Street, it's not close to me at all. So that's why it's so important to just cover all your bases. So don't just assume because you're coming up on page 1 in one slot that you're covered, because you're really, really not. People, they know how to use these devices. They search. They play around. They do whatever they need to do to find the information that they want, and they're always trying to get the best deal, and they're trying to see what's the best thing for them. Now let's talk about how an SEO agency comes into play in this situation. I took this screenshot from inside one of the links that actually came up from my initial search. And we have Starbucks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Common Ground, Coffee and Conversations, Surprises Cafe and Juice Bar. So what I would do as an SEO company for your company is I would do some investigating. And I do some behind the scenes investigating. And I would find out what directories all your competition is actually linked up to. And I would actually link you up to that same directory. So you would at least be competitive with your competition. What happens now is if you're not in a directory, this is what happens. These other businesses come up and you don't. And it's only because they've made a decision to be linked up to a directory. That's the only difference. So thank you for your time. I wanted this to be very quick. I hope you found it informative. I hope you actually learned something today, and I hope you'll take some action on finding out the directories you should be linked up to and actually doing it so you will not lose traffic and bring more people to you instead of driving them actually away from you. This is my information, the name of my business, my phone number, my actual website link, and my email address. And please feel free to find me on Facebook, Anita McLam. And please share this with all your friends that own businesses. And I look forward to seeing you and talking to you real soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.